Today we will go over the history of life on Earth for the entire 4.5 billion years or so that Earth has existed for.
Everything from the first organisms to you and me today. So let's go! First, how did life on Earth evolve as we know it? The landscape of early Earth was shaped by volcanoes and tectonic plates. No, not these kind of plates. Tectonic plates, which are sublayers of the Earth's crust that move and float on molten rock. Scientists theorize that life on Earth evolved from organic molecules raining down into the ocean from the atmosphere. Macromolecules then formed, and eventually protocells formed. Once RNA and things could self-replicate and grow, life was able to take its first form as simple prokaryotes.
The Earth in our solar system was created about 4.5 billion years ago. After about 1 billion years, the first living organisms, prokaryotes, emerged. 1 billion years after, atmospheric oxygen was created by the first photosynthetic bacteria, cyanobacteria. About 500 million years later, single-celled eukaryotes emerged. Endosymbiotic theory is the current theory about how eukaryotes probably emerged from a prokaryote being consumed by another prokaryote and formed a symbiotic relationship. Evidence for this theory includes how mitochondria and chloroplasts have their own DNA and replicate independently to the cell, and their process is similar to binary fission. A little over 500 million years later, multicellular eukaryotes emerged, followed by animals about 1 billion years later. Within the last 1 billion years, plants and animals colonized land and humans emerged.
About 300 million years ago, the Earth had only one continent, Pangaea. The tectonic plates caused the breakup of Pangaea, creation of mountains, volcanoes, and some islands. Tectonic plates shape the geography of our planet through the separation and collisions of different plates with each other. Plates separate at divergent boundaries and collide at convergent boundaries. For example, the Himalayas were formed through the collision of the Indian and Eurasian plates as the Indian plate moved underneath the Eurasian plate, causing the Eurasian plate to be forced upwards.
About 700 million years ago, the first land plants evolved. The current theory is that land plants today are descendants of green algae, the first photosynthetic organism to make it onto land. As plants evolved on land and began to flower, they began to use pollination to reproduce. So how did plants adapt to life on land?
While plants were emerging onto land, they had to overcome many different obstacles. These included less water supply, more sun exposure, and new reproduction methods. To overcome living on land with less water, plants developed phloem and xylem in stems and leaves to transport water and other materials throughout the plant through adhesion and cohesion properties of water. To overcome more sun exposure, plants open and close stomata to limit the amount of water that evaporates, and many stomata are found on the bottom of leaves to prevent overexposure. For new ways of reproduction, plants adapted seeds, which allowed for plants' offspring to survive in harsh environments for longer.
Plants also co-evolved and developed mutualistic relationships with other organisms to survive and reproduce. Plants have a close evolutionary relationship with their pollinators and insects. For example, some plants developed trigger pollination, which causes them to fling pollen onto bees as they land on their flowers. Also, the evolutionary changes with plants and moving on to land help cause the rise and diversity of insects.
Leading from plants, we dive into the creepy, crawly world of insects. It is thought that insects evolved around the same time as terrestrial plants. Insects evolved from crustaceans, and about 400 million years ago, winged insects were the first animals to develop flight. So how did insects become some of the most abundant and diverse organisms on the planet? Of all currently known species alive today, insects account for about 40% of species. Many insects co-evolved with plants due to their dependence on them, making insects very diverse.
Insects can live in a large variety of locations, making them abundant. They developed adaptations to allow them to survive in many environments such as wings, exoskeletons, living in colonies, and surviving underground. This diversity of environments have caused insects to become so diverse. To survive in harsh environments, they have adapted through natural selection to create a variety in species. In addition, insects are much older than mammals and birds and other groups, which accounts for the greater diversity.
Now on to everyone's favorite subject, dinosaurs. Dinosaurs roamed the Earth from about 230 to 65 million years ago. They lived during the Jurassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous periods during the Mesozoic era of Earth's history. So what caused the mass extinction of dinosaurs, and how did this affect life on Earth? The current theory is that about 65 million years ago, a large asteroid collided with Earth. This caused many organisms to be killed upon impact and dust to be stirred up into the atmosphere. The dust blocked the light and disturbed photosynthesis, changing life on Earth drastically. This heavily affected the dinosaurs and their energy source.
During the dinosaurs' time roaming the Earth, the dinosaurs were dominant. There was an abundance of plant life that allowed for them to thrive. After the asteroid hit the Earth, it caused the downfall of the dinosaurs. Dinosaurs were the start of huge predators and led to the age of mammals, as mammals took over the niches left by the dinosaurs. Some dinosaurs also eventually evolved into birds.
So what became of the dinosaurs besides their extinction? Well, some of the dinosaurs evolved into birds. The current theory is that birds evolved from theropods, which were mostly carnivorous and bipedal dinosaurs like velociraptors and T-Rexes. Today, birds show great diversity. There are birds of prey such as eagles, songbirds in our backyards, swimming birds like penguins, and huge running birds like ostriches. So what accounts for the great diversity?
It is believed that birds evolved from dinosaurs. Birds have scales on their feet, lay eggs, have similar anatomy to dinosaurs, and have skeletal similarities to dinosaurs. An example of evolution between a dinosaur and a bird is with the chicken and the T-Rex. A leg bone from the T-Rex was discovered with traces of the protein collagen in it. It was also found that this collagen sample most closely resembles that of a chicken's collagen.
Birds have developed great diversity based on the different environments they live in and foods they eat. They have a variety of diets with seeds, fish, meat, insects, fruit, nectar, and leaves. These differences cause the differences in beak size and shape. For example, the different beaks of Galapagos finches is caused by the differences in diet and emerged through natural selection. They also have great diversity due to other environmental factors. For example, penguins have a lot of blubber and fin-like wings for cold water, while hummingbirds are tiny with long beaks for nectar drinking.
How did mammals come to dominate the planet? Going back to the dinosaurs, the ecological niches left by them were filled by mammals. This led to the Cenozoic period, also known as the Age of the Mammals. Mammals then increased in variety and dominated the planet. The mammals can be identified as warm-blooded vertebrates with hair or fur, typically the birth of live young and the secretion of milk by females too young.
It is believed that mammals emerged about 200 million years ago during the late Triassic period from a group of reptiles called synapsids. Before, mammals were nocturnal, small, and mainly ate insects. They became more diverse, and new groups of larger mammals emerged, along with aquatic mammals, flying mammals, and primates. Most mammals have similar arm bone structure, and whales, bats, humans, and other mammals have these similarities, an example of homologous structures. Also, today, mammals have adaptations to stand up more straight, have larger skulls for specialized teeth and larger brains, and be born at earlier stages.
Speaking of mammals, humans have only existed on Earth for about 200,000 years. If the entire history of Earth was comprised into one day, humans would have emerged 2 minutes before midnight. Humans are primates with highly developed brains, which allows them to drastically affect the environment and other species. So how have humans affected life on Earth and the environment?
The evolutionary history of humans has many missing pieces, but humans share many characteristics of chimpanzees and other primates. Chimpanzees are the closest living relative to humans. This is shown through DNA evidence, as our DNA is 98.6% identical to a chimpanzee's DNA.
Humans have greatly impacted the environment and other organisms. The human population has grown rapidly, leading to humans taking up large amounts of land and displacing and endangering many organisms. Also, humans have polluted the land and bodies of water around them and released large amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, causing changes in climate. However, through conservation work, many species are repopulating and many environments have been preserved.
Even though scientists don't have all the missing pieces to the puzzle that is the history of the Earth, they've still been able to get the big picture by observing fossils and their surroundings.
These discoveries help us to piece together the Earth's history and learn more about the planet that we live on.